how do you build a Super Bowl winner? I mean, how do you build a culture that excels on that stage? Cooper Kupp wins the MVP of this year's Super Bowl, and in the interview process, he said, we just trusted each other. We just trusted each other. And I want to talk about two components that go into that go into trust in a culture, that go into trust in relationships, because you've been part of a culture, an organization, a relationship where there was trust, deep trust. And you've absolutely been part of an organization, a culture, relationships where it wasn't really there, or where it wasn't that deep, where it wasn't bedrock, it wasn't consistent. And it makes a world of difference, doesn't it? It makes a world of difference. There's been an expression in management consulting for, decades now, that says culture eats strategy for breakfast. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. And I think there's a lot to that statement. In the interview right after he won the MVP, Cooper Kupp, for the Rams, for the Los Angeles Rams, they asked him, the first question was about, what were you thinking when you found out you won the MVP? Were you thinking about your this and your that and your career and your, and when you weren't and when this happened? And he said, and he unlocked two secrets to building trust, two secrets to building an organization that has trust, two secrets to, people you allow into your world, whether you hire them or you say, that's a friendship worth pursuing. Two ingredients that we could be better at looking for these, and we could be better at building these. We could be better at rewarding these. Cooper Kupp said, I wasn't really thinking about that. It wasn't thinking about me. He said, I was looking at my wife and my boys, and I was just grateful for them and for the sacrifices that they've made. Two ingredients: gratitude and humility. Gratitude and humility. When the spotlight comes on you, and the spotlight comes on all of us sometimes. There are moments where somebody says, wow, you did I was at a Super Bowl party, a friend of mine threw, and, a bunch of people said, wow, what a great party, and they're telling someone this, and they said, and I heard that a few people at the party say, no, go thank this individual, because he's the one that kind of did it, and the spotlight was on that person. Let's say it's the husband and wife team, and the spotlight was on the wife for a moment, and the wife said, no, go tell my husband, because this is him. And then the spotlight goes to the husband, right? And if that person goes and says to the husband, well, this was an awesome party, you did a great job, that's your chance to say, yeah, I'm good. Or to do what Cooper Kupp did and say, in your own mind, maybe, I'm not really thinking about me right now. I'm thinking about the sacrifices that my family makes, and that I had a lot of help. Because all of us, when we have moments in the spotlight, we've had help, haven't we? Cooper said, I was just looking at my wife and my boys and thinking about the sacrifice they made. And then the interview goes on, and at one point he says, I'm just grateful for the teammates I get to play with every day, I get to practice with, for the coaches that I get to work with and collaborate with. I'm just grateful. Gratitude and humility. Gratitude and humility. They go hand in hand. You want to build a culture of trust, of bedrock trust. Practice those. Practice gratitude. Practice humility. Fast forward in the interview, and somebody said to Cooper, I read that you weren't even, you didn't even have colleges looking at you out of high school, and what do you think of that? And Cooper's response again, gratitude and humility. He said, I'm glad I went to the school I went to. I guess he wasn't recruited, or he wasn't one of the top recruits in the country out of high school. And he said, I'm glad I went there. He said, the relationships I built there, the friendships I built there, the people, the character, the people I met there. Just amazing. He said, they were at my wedding, people I met in that school. He said, this is what he said. He said, it was just part of my journey. It was just part of my journey. How often do we look at part of our journey, in Cooper Kupp's words, part of our journey, and not think I'm grateful for that. Because all of us, you look back in your journey and you've got things, experiences where you say, I wish you probably, I do this. I wish that didn't happen. I wish I didn't have to go through that. I wish that wasn't part of my experience. And Cooper says, that's just part of my journey. And I'm grateful for that and the people I met. And gratitude and humility. When we're honest, you want a culture of trust. You want people in your world to be trustworthy. And it starts with you and me looking in the mirror and saying, how am I doing with gratitude? How am I doing with humility? Am I becoming increasingly trustworthy? Cooper Kupp, Super Bowl, a culture of excellence, a culture of trust. I want to take a second and invite you to apply to be part of. I called it the free webinar Super Bowl, because every year there's 32 teams in the NFL and 30 of them don't play in the Super Bowl, 2 do. And I decided that it really essentially in line with this gratitude and humility, I am so blessed to get the chance to work with organizations around the world and to do the work I do. I've been passionate about learning things, studying things, and then teaching those things. And in the middle, trying to apply those things. And I'll be launching, later on this year, I'll be launching a new book on creativity. It's a book that's a decade in progress, actually probably a little more than a decade in progress. I've been doing workshops on this topic for over 10 years. I've been speaking on it, trying to teach on it, trying to, immersing myself in the research and the studying organizations, studying individuals, studying people with tremendous creativity, whether they're leaders or writers or speakers or artists or athletes or coaches, or parents, teachers, people who have just an incredible creativity, and try to figure out what do they have in common. What can we learn from them, and how can we try to apply it? How can I try to apply it, and then how can I try to teach it so that other people can apply it? And so as part of the launch of that book, and part of my gratitude for just being able to be part of this kind of process and serve people, I want to give you a chance to enter to be in that group of 2. So we're going to give away 2 completely free webinars. So maybe you're part of an organization. I get to speak for every organization you can imagine, from the American Hospital Association, all kinds of healthcare organizations, hundreds of healthcare conferences I've spoken at. And I'm so grateful for them, especially through the last 2 years. I get to speak for teaching organizations and military organizations, you name it, universities, and just great organizations, coaching organizations all around the world. And it's just a way of saying thank you. I'm going to do 2 free webinars, completely free webinars, on this topic of unleashing creativity. You want to be a part of that? You want to be considered? You want your organization to be considered for that? Look at the information below, fill it out, send me an email with the answers to those questions. Your name, the organization, how many people you think might attend, why? Why do you think your organization should be part of this, should be in the 2 Super Bowl winners, Super Bowl participants, and which team are you happy that they were not in the Super Bowl this year? I'm Jonathan Fanning. Thank you so much for the chance to serve you. Gratitude, humility on the road to building and deepening trust.